This video goes out to all of you guys out there who currently feel a bit lost about their career and feel clueless about what to do next. I totally know how that feels like because I also used to be in a similar situation. A long time ago, I was working in banking and I had a really successful career. And to be honest, there were a lot of aspects of my job in project management and strategic business management in the bank that I truly enjoyed, and I learned a lot from that job. But there were a lot of things that I didn't like, and in general I knew that that kind of career was not what I really wanted. But at the same time, I kind of had hints about what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something in the entertainment industry. I loved acting, I wanted to do filmmaking and so on, but I didn't really know how to go about it and what to do next. So that was a time where I was really at a low point. And I was feeling lost and I didn't know what to do next, and I felt a bit hopeless about the whole situation. But now many years have passed and I'm not in the banking or the financial industry anymore. I'm working in the entertainment industry. I'm really happy that I took all the steps that eventually brought me to where I am now. But I must say that it was a very long journey with a lot of hard work, effort, but also disappointment, which was all worth it, by the way. And this is a question for you. Let me know in the comments what you are going through right now. Why are you feeling lost? What do you think is lacking in your current career? And also let me know if you know what your career goals are. What in the world is holding you back from trying to achieve that? And I will promise I will try my best to answer each and every question. What I want to do is share some mindsets or perhaps some new perspectives that can hopefully give you some insight, and most of all hope and faith that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Things will get better for you, and that you will eventually be able to work yourself into the kind of career that is right for you specifically. What I want to say up front is that the process of changing careers, getting out of a career that you don't like and starting a career that you really want, is a long process. If you get that done in 1 year, I would say that is already very fast. But for most people, they will take years and years to get into the kind of ideal career that is best for them. But right now, what I want to try to do is to place into your mind, into your brain, these two following images. The first one is a chess play, and the second one is what I would call the Northern Star. So let's start with the analogy of playing chess. In playing chess, in order to achieve your goal, in this case, it's a fixed goal. You want to win the game. It always takes several steps. You can never, no matter how smart you are, or if you are the IBM computer Watson even, it's not possible to complete the whole game in only one step at the beginning. It always takes multiple steps. And in order to win the game, what you also need to do is you always have to think a few steps ahead. So you might not win with that one step that you are taking at the moment, but if you plan your steps up front and you anticipate what might happen next, then by plotting out these steps, this path, your chances of winning might dramatically increase. And that is the exact same thing with changing careers or starting a new career. So right now, let's say you are in a kind of career that you absolutely hate. Let's just say you're working in engineering. I don't know why I keep using that example, perhaps because I don't know anything about engineering. And I'm not saying that engineering is a bad field to work in. On the contrary, I'm so happy that there are people out there who are engaged in that field. But never mind, let's just say you are working in engineering and you really hate it, but you feel stuck in that job. It pays really well, and you've already been promoted maybe 1 or 2 times, and you feel like you're in a really good and stable position. But what you actually want to do, what you've always wanted to do, is set up your own restaurant. I mean, it's the dream of so many people to just have their own business and call the shots. And let's say that specifically you want to open a ramen restaurant. Yummy. But from where you are right now in your engineering job, that dream, opening a ramen shop, just seems too far away. It just seems so unrealistic because perhaps, first of all, you know nothing about how to make ramen, you know nothing about the culinary industry, and you have no experience in entrepreneurship, and so on and so on. So it's just very hard to imagine the steps of how you can get from your engineering full-time job into being a full-time entrepreneur and living off of your profit from that ramen shop. By the way, in case you're enjoying this video so far, then please give me a thumbs up. That would really mean a lot to me. Oftentimes in life, we lack the patience, and so do I, by the way, to go through the process, the very long process of hard work and especially uncertainty and keeping the faith to get to your goal. But when looking at a game like chess, we are completely clear that in order to win the game, it's not enough to just take one step and then give up if you don't win, but it really requires multiple steps. So it's the same with this example. If you're an engineer who wants to open a ramen shop, you need to plot out all the steps that come in between. And actually here you're at an advantage. In a chess game, you have an opponent who is actively working against you, who also wants to win. So it's a win-lose situation. There is no situation, no case in which both parties will win. But in real life, that is not the case. You can leave your engineering job and open a ramen shop while no one else will lose out on anything. By the way, in case you're new to this channel, I make videos on multiple careers and career change. And one of my goals is that I want to help other people to shape the kind of career that they really want and that is best for your life. If you're curious to know more about multiple careers, then you might want to check out my other video, which I'll link up here. So if you are someone who wants to change their life, change their career, or perhaps start a new career, then this channel is definitely for you. And in that case, then you might want to subscribe. And also, in that case, don't forget to hit the little alarm bell, because only if you do will YouTube notify you each time there are new videos from me. So grab a piece of paper and write down on the left-hand side where you are right now, let's say in your engineering job. And then on the right-hand side, on the far-hand side, write down where you think you want to be in 3 years, or perhaps even 5 years. Give it a bit more time so you will not be disappointed if you don't get to your goal as fast. Because believe me, most things, the more radical your career change is, the more time it will take. Now, in between this point A and point B where you want to get to, plot out all the steps that you think will be necessary. And this could be just at the top of my head, in the first year, stash an emergency fund for 12 months or even 24 months, because the bigger your emergency fund, the bigger your backup, the safer it will be for you. And then step 2 could be take a sabbatical from work or an extended unpaid vacation. For example, for 3 months or a 6 months sabbatical, and go to Japan or wherever where you think that you can learn more about the art of making ramen. So now you might be asking me, taking a sabbatical or unpaid leave from work, how does that work? I mean, I'll not be able to earn any money during that time. And that is where your savings come in. And come on, if you want to achieve something that you think is worthwhile in the long term, it will require a sacrifice. It doesn't come without any cost. But if that is something that you really want to do, then you need to go for it. So plan your finances really carefully. I think that this is the most important but also most underestimated aspect of the whole career change thing. So let's say that you went to Japan for 6 months and you took a course, and let's say that after that you more or less have an idea of how to make ramen. I'm not sure how long it takes. Again, this is just an example. And during the process, you might even find out that, oh, I just realize that even though I'm crazy about eating ramen, but making ramen is a whole different thing, and it turns out that I don't really want to open my own ramen shop at all, then that's also fine. In that case, you've had the experience and you have no regrets, because at least you tried something in that area and it turned out that it's not the thing for you. But that's likely the only way that you could find out for sure. But then let's say that after these 6 months or that 1 year or whatever, you found that this is really what I want to do. I could really make this work. Then the next step would be, I would say, first go back to your day job. Keep working in that job, because it will take a long time until you figure out the business aspect of setting up that restaurant, figuring out your business plan, getting investors. So you want to have that day job while you're planning for that. Don't give up your day job and hope that everything will just magically fall into place within a few months, because in most cases that doesn't happen. except if you're extremely lucky. But those are like the minority of the cases, and I wouldn't count on it. So let's say that you've plotted out 3, 4, or 5 steps on your piece of paper. Now everything already looks much clearer, doesn't it? Whereas before, everything seemed very vague and very unclear. Now you at least have concrete steps that you can follow. Of course, at any step during the process, you might change your mind, but at least for now, you have a plan. You know that you need to take these 3 to 5 steps in order to change your career from being a full-time engineer to setting up your own ramen shop. And I think that setting up a plan in this way, although you might not 100% stick to this plan, has a very important role. Having this plan and knowing what the steps are, more or less even, will definitely give you a large dose of hope and also excitement. And hope and excitement is really what you need, especially in a situation where you feel stuck in your career, when you feel lost and you feel clueless about the whole process. And the next image that I want to put in your mind is the image of a northern star. And this might sound really poetic to you. Northern star, wow. It sounds abstract, but it is really not. In a very interesting video, the famous psychologist Jordan Peterson talked about how important it is to aim at something. We humans need something to aim toward, because if we don't, then we might just be walking around in circles and not getting anywhere. So each person needs to try and identify their northern star. Their northern star could be their purpose at the highest level, or their mission, their vocation, calling, or simply a goal that they have in the next 5 years. I mean, it's really difficult to know what you want to be doing for the rest of your whole life, and you don't need to. But if you at least know what your goal is within the next 3 years or 5 years, that will already help you a lot rather than having no goal at all. So let's say that you've identified your northern star, and that is, let's just say that you want to become a dog trainer like Cesar Millan. I'm sure you know him, right? So your northern star in this case for the time being would be to become a dog trainer. And don't worry about it, it can still change later on. But at least for now, you have something that you can aim toward. So with this goal in mind, you have something that you can work toward. You start, for example, spending time with animals, dogs in particular, and you take a course on how to train dogs, give obedience training, and so on. And let's say that you do it for 1 year and you really enjoyed it. But let's say that in the process of training to become a dog trainer, you find out other things about yourself. You notice, for example, that near the dog training compound, there is a small pet store that sells pet supplies. And every time after you complete your lessons or your training, you go into that store and you buy supplies for your dog. And because you're going to those dog training sessions, let's say 3 times, 4 times a week, you're spending more and more time at that pet store buying stuff for your dog. And after a while, you suddenly notice that, having a pet supply store, that could be something fun. For example, you realize that you really enjoy talking to other people about new pet supplies or new dog food, etc. And you feel like you might have a knack for selling stuff. From this example, you might notice that I don't have a dog. But the reason why I use this example is because I do in real life have a friend who wants to become a dog trainer. But never mind. So at this point in time, you realize that perhaps being a dog trainer is not what you really want to do. What you're more interested in is having your own pet supply shop, but you just realized it now. Previously, before you started so intensively learning about this dog training thing, it really didn't come to your mind that what you wanted to do is open a pet shop. But now, because you've been through this experience and you spent so many hours at this pet shop, you realize that that is what you want to do. This atmosphere in this shop, dealing with these products, is something that you could see yourself doing for a living, which means in this case that your northern star might have shifted. So at this point, you might ask me, doesn't that mean that I'm being indecisive and I keep changing my goals? I wouldn't say that at all. I mean, your goal has definitely changed from previously wanting to become a dog trainer to now becoming a pet shop owner. But compare that from where you were previously. Previously, you were in your engineering job. So right now, you are much closer to where you want to be, even though you haven't reached that ideal spot yet. So if you feel lost or feel clueless about your career, then at least try to identify your northern star and be aware that that might change, but at least you have something to aim toward. So once you've identified your northern star, and even though it's it's a temporary one. The next step would be to realize that it will take several steps to get there. The important thing to remember is that even though right now you might feel lost, you feel like you don't have any perspective, the reason is because you're glued to your spot and you're not moving. Once you move, once you make even just a tiny step, there will be new information available to you. New opportunities will open up. You will have new experience and have new material to work with. This entire thing is a process of fine-tuning. With each step, you get closer and closer to where you want to be. So guys, I hope that this video was useful to you in some way. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and also if you have any questions. As always, I thank you so much for watching, especially to those of you who stuck with me till this point. I wish you an awesome day, all the best with your career, and I hope to see you again soon.